Well, hello, folks. Tony Evans here, and I'm seated in my kitchen at my kitchen table. This is the table where a lot of the life of the Evans family has been lived. And we would gather around this table daily to eat, to talk, to pray, to correct, to encourage, to bless, to have devotions. This was a centerpiece of the Evans household as our 4 children grew up here. We also had to deal with issues from this table, issues that our kids were facing at school or issues that were happening in the world. So I guess it's appropriate that it's from this table I talk to you today about issues. Coronavirus is an issue. It has captivated the mind and the attention of the whole world collectively and each of us individually. As you gather in your home, as I'm in mine, because now Dallas County, where I live, is under a stay-home edict. So we need to be in our homes. But you know, it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to take this space and time away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and reevaluate. Reevaluate what matters most, reevaluate the importance of family, reevaluate life, because now everything has been turned topsy-turvy. And we should never let a good crisis go to waste. That's what Winston Churchill said. This really is a time to draw near to God, to draw near to one another, and to see what He wants to say to us through this trial that we're all facing. Now, the great danger is that we will turn legitimate concern into illegitimate fear. You know, we got enough virus to worry about, corona, than to turn fear into another kind of a virus. In fact, it may be more people who are being affected by the virus of fear than by the virus of corona because of the uncertainty involved. And yet the Bible makes it clear that we are not to be controlled by fear. Yes, we ought to be responsibly concerned, but don't let fear own your emotions or own your decisions or own your choices. No, God is too big for that. Our Heavenly Father is too awesome for that. And it doesn't do you any good to live in fear. You know, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, the first 5 verses, says that you and I ought to take every thought captive to obedience to Christ. We're being bombarded by the news, right? And they are affecting our thinking. You know, we look at the stats, we look at the spread, we look at the difficulties people are facing, we look at the warnings, we look at the edicts, we look at the confusion, we look at the uncertainty. And if you let that news consume you, it will own not only what you think, but as a result, how you feel. But 2 Corinthians 10 says to take every thought captive to Christ. So instead of spending all of your time listening to what the news media has to say, let's spend a lot more time listening to what God has to say so that He affects our emotions more than the news media. After all, God is not operating with question marks. He's not operating with uncertainty. He's not operating in confusion. That's what people are doing. He operates in confidence and certainty and stability. You've never needed God. Your family has never needed God. The Church of Jesus Christ has never needed God. And the culture has never needed God any more than we need Him right now. And by the way, that's the point. God is saying, oh, you really do need me, don't you? So let's not ignore Him who speaks, because He is screaming right now. I'm at my table. Why don't you go to your table, gather with your loved ones who are near and dear to you, and sit around and talk about the things that really matter. Because all of a sudden, a lot of things that we thought mattered really doesn't matter that much anymore, does it? If you got a roof over your head and clothes on your back and food in your stomach, this is a time for thanksgiving, to think on the things you are grateful for, to thank God that you are okay, and to pray for those who are not okay and those who are working with those who are not okay. It shifts the equation of our priorities. So I'm at my table. Why don't you go to your table? Why don't you give thanks to your Father and mine? And why don't you do what you can do to show compassion to those here in our church in Dallas? We're reaching out to the elderly. We're reaching out to the sick. We're reaching out to the needs in the community as we're able. Everybody can do something in a responsible way to say, you know, God matters, people matter. Everything else should support those too. Anything else has to be put in its proper place down the line. So I'm going back to my table. You go back to your table. And let's all let God know that He is the centerpiece on the table as we trade our fears for trust in a God who loves us even when we're going through a trial. God bless you.